will be a very good conversation. So thank both of you for doing this. It's going to be something that I didn't realize how involved it was. I've been to one of the trials for one of the J6ers, and the no justice at all. I was like, it's a grandmother. She just happened to go in, and the FBI was like, yeah, we don't want to have anything to do with you. They investigated it and threw it out. Then they contacted her again, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna investigate you again, and but we're not gonna try you. And so she's like, okay. And then the third time, they're like, okay, we've done the investigation, we're gonna try you, and here's your dates. So she went in, I promoted her, helped her out, and uh, the day that Trump did the pardons, she was supposed to go to jail and got off. So at least it was good for that. But like we're going to talk about, obviously there's something a lot more. They need to be pardoned on a different level.
Yeah, what happened, Mike? Trump working on every other thing.
Yeah.
Nobody picked up the ball, and that's why Sheila and I had to write this article because there's a lot still going on, as we'll cover. But we want to get Stephen Miller on it for Trump to get eyes on it again because there's a lot still has to be done to prove get the innocence established for all these J6ers and their families. There's been so much damage, and as Sheila will point out, it's affected almost 40,000 people,
Wow.
families, aunts, uncles, grandparents,
Yeah.
uh, bankruptcy, suicide. So anyhow, that's the whole purpose.
Okay. Very good.
General, you did, I just heard about this within the last 24 hours. You actually visited with some of these people, didn't you, when they were in the gulag?
Yes, I didn't
Wow.
physically, but I did a conference that they set up. So I
Oh,
talked to eight of them in the gulag, yeah. And that's when I launched Operation Jericho. The story about
That I
Jericho
think we
in the
should bring that in
Bible is,
because I don't think anyone knows this, Jaco.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think anyone
That's
knows.
definitely.
yeah. Okay.
Hello,
Okay.
everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets, joined once again by Sheila Holm and General Paul Vallely. We're going to be talking about the J6ers. We just kind of put this together really, really quick. Sheila Holm has done an incredible investigation on this. I've been involved with the J6ers. General Vallely has been involved with the J6ers. We'll talk a little bit about that. But really, what we need to talk about is how there's a representation that's going on. People don't realize they were given pardons, but it wasn't to the level that it needs to be. And Sheila's done investigative work on that. Sheila, you want to jump in and give us some insight on that?
Well, Pardon of Innocence is what the J6 guys that started doing the assistance on the cases, not as attorneys, they're just regular people who experienced all of this, put together, researched, and found a pardon of innocence. Sheila did not. And they went, but they followed the pattern I used with cases in California, constitutional rights, because they knew there was a problem with the election. It wasn't just 2020, it was 2016, and it was several before that. And we were all finding this out. So they went for the truth, went to support constitutional rights, which is what they served our country for. And then they were arrested. And then a lot of their misdemeanors were enhanced. And in the enhancements, they got 18 months, they got 3 years, they got more years. It was a horrific thing. But right in the midst of this, General Vallely had conversations with these people. And I think we should hear that structure first.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sheila. I got involved very early on when they started the trials in D.C., as well as arresting the J6ers and putting them first into the gulag there in the District of Washington, which was a horrible jail, probably still is. And the guards in there were absolutely like a rogue. They were just horrible the way they treated the prisoners as far as starvation, wouldn't let them exercise. And so they started playing at night at 10:30 at night, the Star Spangled Banner to keep the morale up. It was so bad. And so anyhow, someone set me up from Georgia uh, that had been talking to them, and they were able to authorize a conference call with me to eight members that were in the gulag, and the reports were just horrible. The beatings they took, from these guards. I mean, it was just terrible. And so at that time, I launched Operation Jericho. And if you go back in the Bible, you'll see in Jericho they had some jailed some people, and there was a an attempt to release them from jail at that time. And so that's where I came up with Jericho from the Bible. And we put together a position paper. We started to do interviews. And then I sent it to members of Congress, Mike. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, you may remember there was only one congressional small delegation team, Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few others, that went to the Gulag one time.
That's right.
Then nothing happened. And so I took the recording and I sent it along with this memorandum to members of Congress, including my own here from Montana. Mike, they did nothing.
Mm.
Nothing happened from these guys in Congress. And these J6ers were members of the districts. None of their congressmen, Republicans or Democrats, did anything to help them until President Trump came up with the clemency and forgiveness at that time. But then Trump and his staff got involved, economics, military things, all of these things that Trump was trying to change and manage that Biden and Obama had destroyed and dismantled our country. And so nobody picked up the ball. So what inspired us, Sheila and I, from this Marine is that we got to pick up the ball now. And so we want the message today, if you can help us get it to the White House, back to Trump again. And we really think that there ought to be somebody put on point again to resurrect this because some of these, they're still out there. And Sheila will tell you there's 8 or 9 that still are supposed to be tried in the courts.
Mm.
Many of them are still well, they're not in prison. I guess they've been released with the clemency and that Trump came out with in his first 30 days. But the effects, bankruptcy, suicides, people still can't get jobs. It's hanging over them like a black cloud.
Mm.
And so this innocence, pardon of innocence, has to be done. So let's pick up the ball, ladies and gentlemen, America. Let's pick up the ball in the White House. We need to get Stephen Smith on it. He'd be a good point dog on this one. So that's our objective, Mike.
Yeah, and the just atrocious the number of people like you're talking about pardon of innocence for at least 1,590 to 1,610. So the Department of Justice has the numbers on this. They know
Correct.
who's been impacted. I went to a trial for a J6er, and there was no justice at all. I
No
couldn't believe
justice.
it, none. And the people that were there in the jury, I was like, "There's no way these people are going to convict this poor."
They're all democratically controlled.
Totally, totally.
Democratic judges.
Yep. Yeah, I was very surprised. FBI, the judge, Department of Justice, everyone there was completely aligned against. And as we saw, I think there might have been one person that was not convicted out of all of these people. So it was obviously a travesty of justice that's unbelievable. And I
Yeah.
had no idea that the conditions for them were that bad. I
Oh,
knew
it
they
was
were
horrible.
bad because I talked to a guy that was actually in prison. I had him on my show several times and he would be he would be solitary confinement for like
Yeah.
20, 30 days, and then he'd get out and he'd do a show with me. I was like, God, what crazy, crazy
One
what
of them had, Mike, one of them had cancer. They wouldn't let him go to get his chemo and cancer therapy. They
wow.
wouldn't let him out of jail. That's what I'm told. One of them told me when I was on with him.
Hmm. Now, Sheila, you
Yeah,
did some
two
incredible
with
investigative work.
cancer.
Yeah.
The only reason why they released them was because they were dying and they had not given them any medical treatment the whole time they were in. And we
Correct.
forget that this happened in 21. They were not pardoned until 25.
Hmm.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah, I saw that one family lost a farm held by their family for more than 200 years. Their business, job, pension, and life savings, all these people.
And
A lot of them
military,
still can't get jobs.
can we get Pete Hegseth involved? The military guys, a lot of
Yeah.
them were still active duty.
Wow.
They were removed. I know several Air Force people for, I don't even know why. It's Air Force and Marines, because I know a lot of Army people too, but the Air Force guys, the threats and intimidation never stopped. And they were intimidating the people around them that they shouldn't be around them in the Air Force because they were at J6. And then they ended up being raided within a few days. I mean, the buildup, the intimidation. There are still people that wonder if they're going to be raided again. They're enhancing some of the people's. I gave the 9 names of the guys that aren't totally clear yet. They've
Yeah.
got people on probation reporting to a probation officer after the pardoning. They've got people they're holding under judges' orders are not finished yet. They want to enhance based on other J6 things now. We're talking 4 years later. They want to do this. The guys in the gulag, and I don't think people realize this, they were held there. If you kill someone tonight and you're found by a detective in 5 days, and they bring you in for questioning, they can't hold you more than, I don't know, 48, 72 hours. If they don't have enough to convict you through the DA, you get released.
Yeah.
None of these guys were released. They were held in
No.
the gulag. I mean, the general knows a lot more about this than I do because I didn't go to DC. I wasn't at the gulag. I wasn't talking to people about the gulag. I was on platform with the guys that were still talking about it. And there were 2 podcasters when I was on Reawaken tour for the last 2.5 years, with General Flynn. There were several that came in as podcasters, and then next thing you know, their family was raided. I mean, it just kept going on. And so how do you sleep at night? How do you, I mean, that level of intimidation, I still double check my front door and my bedroom door and make sure they're both locked at night because you never know if they're going to come and do more to you. I
Yeah.
mean, and what happened to me over a series from 1991 all the way to last year. It's never stopped. So it never stops. They always say there's something else they can do. And for these judges to say they can still enhance on J6 actions now in 25, when they've already been to trial, we had a guy that committed suicide after he pled, and I think that's in there, after he pled to minor, couple 3 months. As soon as he pled guilty, they enhanced it and gave him 3 years, and so he committed suicide because he already couldn't take care of his family, but he thought he knew people who could help them get through a couple 3 months, but didn't have anybody to take care of his family for 3 years.
Yeah. And the other
We
thing,
we've Yeah,
None of the Pelosi and everybody who was involved in that scam, that fraud, none of them yet have been held accountable.
none of them.
And the Republicans have dropped the ball on it.
That committee, the J6 committee,
Oh
they've
God,
been proven to be
yeah.
liars.
Liz
What's
Cheney,
happening to
my
them?
God, what a traitor she turned out to be.
Mm.
Yeah, just horrible, Mike, what's happened. But the problem is they dropped the ball in the White House after Trump made his decision. Uh, and that's why we wanted to pick up the basketball again. I'll call it that, of the football. And let's run with this and let's get this thing solved forever, so these people can live a normal life with their families and so on. That's what it's all about.
I agree.
Look,
And we need to investigate some of those mysterious suicides that happen to people as well. I mean,
yeah,
it's not just a travesty of justice to these guys and women that were taken and tried and thrown in prison. Uh, I was there that day. Fortunately, I never went into the building, but they have gone after people that weren't even in the building,
yeah,
arrested them and
The
raided
leaders of
them.
the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, they weren't even in DC. They
Wow.
weren't even in DC, and they still convicted him and sent him to prison.
Mm.
It was getting podcasters off the streets, but all of these military, imagine they fight for constitutional rights. They couldn't vote in 22. They couldn't vote in 24.
yeah,
There's
taken
still
away
many
from them.
that are told they can't vote in 26 or 28.
Mm.
That's why the passion for this to get this turned around, because once you've been impacted by the FBI and you know that you can't trust what they're trying to do or say about you as an American, you have a bigger fight. And so they were wondering why I was so emotional about this because God said I wasn't to go. There were people that wanted to fund for me to go on January 6th, and God said, you're not going. You're not going to be in that on January 6th, having no idea that all this was going to happen
Yeah,
because
Cash
I wanted to go
Patel and
and
Don
support.
Mangino need to be in on this too, as well as
Yep.
Pete Hegseth for those innocent members of the military.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's got to
we
be a
got
team, but it's got to come from the White House. That's why we think Stephen Smith is a guy. He should be the point guy because he really chases things down.
no doubt. So you had Green Berets, Army Rangers, SEAL team members, decorated Marines, like we
Of
talked
course,
about,
yeah,
war heroes.
yeah,
We have a lot, even law enforcement. I've seen law enforcement that were there that have
yeah.
been their homes raided and they were thrown in prison as well.
And the FBI infiltrated. They had FBI agents on duty there in the crowd, dressed in civilian clothes, agitating. And you saw the guards let the people go into the house of the people. Now, some of them did some crazy things, breaking windows. That was unnecessary. But that's a misdemeanor at best. Hold them in jail for 2 or 3 days, fine them or something. But it was only a hand people that were breaking things.
Yeah. And there were known Ukrainian agitators in that crowd as well. That's been proven. So there's obviously a setup like we're talking about. And these people have been, greatly harmed, and we need the pardon of innocence. That's a thing that we're promoting here, and I think that we get some more people involved with this. Pete Hegseth would be great.
Yep,
Military members, and then it can spill over into everybody.
yep,
So
Well,
it'll
in
start.
public awareness, when all this was happening to me, I just kept telling the FBI because I was teaching, I was trying to learn things. I was teaching at UCSD out in La Jolla, a certification class to have some money, and then also helping a professor at San Diego State. And I met all of these students that were just students from other nations, and these guys happened to be Middle Eastern. The instructor in English was Middle Eastern. And he was getting them the social security numbers. He was helping them with housing and everything. And I'm just giving one example because I found a bunch of examples, all with the assistance of God, to tell the people the truth as to what was happening. I'm telling the FBI about this guy. They didn't do anything about this guy. You know what I find out after they were the names of some of the guys that went into supposedly the towers on 9/11? That English professor was a Middle Eastern informant for the FBI. That's why they wouldn't listen to me and wouldn't do anything about these students who were here with social security numbers and getting jobs. And I can't get a job because they ruined my social security number. And so all of this, people didn't understand. And this has been going on since the 80s. And so what's the problem is we're never a victim. People don't understand this. They think that they caused a crime. They didn't really cause a crime. They have no victim rights because the victims of that crime are the residents of DC who were either at work or at home that day. The
Mhm.
the residents of DC were not with the J6 people at the Capitol, which is supposed to be the people's house. And I looked it up on the internet, and the internet still says in quotes, it's a people's house. And so that's what happened. And that's the same thing with identity theft. We weren't victims either. The victims were the banks and the lenders. They have insurance to cover their losses. So what happened to our insurance premiums? Do you see what I mean? The layers of this never change. The situations change, but the layers never change. And so great. I sent this link to your producer. This link, if you can go underneath the interview if that's possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, another thing that we wanted to bring up is this 9/11 event, and kind of give people a warning. Tell us a little bit about that, Sheila?
Well, that's what started this. I found out about this on Labor Day. I took some spare time because I didn't do any barbecue or anything. And so I'm scrolling through on my Twitter and I find this tweet that says that they're going to be doing this on 9/11 and they're going to hold the president responsible. And it was a gal who calls herself a DC correspondent. And the gal was using excessive foul language that the blank and Trump, the blank and this, the blank and that Trump needs to be responsible for. And what people need to know now is that we keep wanting Trump to fix everything. I still hear from people that he should have fixed it in his first term. You can't fix 250 years of a plan in 4 or 8 or 10 years. It's impossible to do it, to get rid of all the evil. And President Thomas Jefferson told us you can't just remove an evil and try and replace it with something else. You have to completely restructure it. And he already knew that the Republic was already in trouble. And so that's what we're having to do now. So, in looking at the situation, it was so horrific what was stated in that tweet. And one of the main guys of J6, who is a brilliant guy, is all the videos, has all of it cataloged, has everything together. He retweeted it because he wanted people to go and become a voice and make the president aware of this. Well, that's not the way that we do things under a republic. A republic is a fact that I make my voice known to the people who are my employees. And all those reps are the employees. All the bureaus they added, they're all employees. All of the 405 additional departments that we don't even need, they're all employees. We make those people aware of all of this because these military guys lost all their benefits. They lost their pensions. They have no option for anything.
They
All of
can't get
that
a
needs to be
job.
restored. Yeah. The what?
They can't get a job, Sheila.
They're
No.
felons.
Nobody's hiring them. It's like a black
And
cloud over their head.
they should really get their back pay because the military
Sure.
operated against them.
Well, it's timely
Then
now since they're taking up action on the Ashley Babbitt situation, basically restoring her, all of her, mm, oh, what would you call it? Her payments or forgiveness. I don't know. There's something
well,
going.
they're reinstating her honors,
Yeah,
and they're also giving all the pay,
right. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly.
and they may put her the remainder of her ashes. There's very little left in Arlington, is what they're
Arlington.
thinking.
Yeah. So the timing is right for all of this, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So,
I'm just pedaling as fast as I can because we only have a week. A week from today is 9/11, and I just got to pedal as fast as I can to get this done. And that's why, what an honor to have General Vallely stand with us in this, Mike. It's emotional because, and what an honor, because that's what it takes is to realize. I mean, he wrote all of these things to help us with the cartels. He wrote Sinaloa, and I said Geronimo earlier, and it's Jericho, and
That's
I
all right.
apologize for that,
Okay.
General, but he wrote all of these to help us and to put these things together. And so I'm so honored to have him on with us today, to go over this, and I'm so honored that he would do this with me
that's
because they wouldn't know who I am to send this out. And I'm just so honored that he joined with us in this. It's going to make a world of difference.
absolutely. And yeah, this article as we're showing right here, definitely you should read this. It basically has all the information that we're talking about in detail, and we're looking forward to people get involved with this because it's definitely something that I was like, okay, they're pardoned, and everybody's like, yeah,
Yeah. I
but it's
thought everything
not.
was
They're
gone. Yeah.
it's not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah, we need a little bit more help. We the people
Yep.
need to like get involved here. Get our get our people that are in charge. We have great people in charge. They just need to be informed. I think they're uninformed
Exactly.
about the severity of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's
and
great,
the
Mike. Well, thanks for taking the time today to hear Sheila and I. We really appreciate it. We're just trying to get the word out, but the key is we wanted to get it into the White House and get some action going. Only President Trump and Stephen can do it, I think, at this point in time, with everything else going on.
Sounds great.
and it, and if anybody out there can help us, because this network of people, this is we the people. Every time I'm with you, Jaco, it is we the people and the way that your people respond. So anybody that can get us to Stephen Miller, anybody that can get, and the link is going to be available to you of the general's release of all of this.
Mhm.
And so getting it to Stephen Miller, getting it to Pete Hegseth, getting it to Cash Patel, getting it to Dan Bongino, getting anybody that's connected with any of those
Right.
people. So it would
Yeah.
be really, really helpful.
Yep.
Very good.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. This was great.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
Bless you both.
Bless you
Thank you,
guys.
Sheila. Bye-bye. All right.
Bye.